Hey everybody, this video is called Bildad's Final Speech, and tonight we continue our pass-through study here in the book of Job, where we're going to be looking at, I think, is the shortest chapter in the book of Job. It is only 6 verses, so this is going to be a pretty short video for tonight. But we're going to look at Bildad's final speech here. And so Job 25 verse 1 says, "Then Bildad the Shuhite answered and said." So we see an introduction of the chapter on who's speaking here. And we see it's the last speech of Job's 3 friends. So we see Bildad says the final things to Job here. In verse 2 and 3, it says, "Dominion and fear belong to him. He makes peace in his high places. Is there any number to his armies? Upon whom does his light not rise?" So Bildad, he proclaims that God is majestic and exalted. And Bildad, he repeats what has been agreed upon by Job and all his 3 friends. And even though the 4 of them didn't agree on everything, they agreed on the greatness of God. And in verse 4, it says, "How then can a man be righteous before God? Or how can he be pure who is born of a woman?" So verse 4, Bildad does not think in terms of grace. And Job repeats Job 9:2 as he said in his first speech. In verse 5 and 6, the last verses in the chapter, says, "And even if the moon does not shine and the stars are not pure in his sight, how much less man who is a maggot and a son of man who is a worm." So Bildad says that man is sinful. That man was sinful, and all of us would agree with that. And especially Job would agree. And we're going to see that Job, believes in total depravity. And Bildad, he risks overstating the depth of human worthlessness because he has a negative type view of man. And the doctrine of total depravity is not a negative doctrine. And even in their sinful condition, human beings retain the image of God and given each person dignity and value. And furthermore, Bildad's sweeping generalization does not begin to connect with the specifics of Job's circumstances. And Bildad, he considered that even some of the glorious aspects of creation still fall short of the glory of the Creator. And some believe the stars represent the angels. And if the moon and the stars cannot reflect the glory of God as they should, then it stands to reason that man cannot either. So, to wrap up our short video for today in chapter 25, we look tonight at Bildad's final speech, inspiring upon the greatness of God. And Bildad, he goes on to question man in light of the greatness of God. And even though Bildad is not one of my favorite characters in the Bible, I do have to give him respect that he focuses on the greatness of God and he does not put man first. And Bildad ends the speaking on man's relative greatness compared to creation. And Old Testament scholar Elmer Smick, he made a great point on this passage that I wanted to share. He said, unlike the Apostle Paul, who developed the doctrine of total depravity in the book of Romans, chapters 1 through 3, or as some people call the book of Romans, they say it's the gospel according to Paul. In Romans 1 through 3, to prepare the way for grace, we know from rest of Bildad's remarks that he left no room for mercy or forgiveness. So while I agree with Bildad on total depravity and how man falls short of pleasing God through their own actions, Bildad does not teach on grace, which we get in the new covenant. And that's going to wrap up this video for today. Like I said, very short video. And we'll see you next as we look at Job's response to Bildad. So we'll see you next time, and we'll let you know when the next video will be. God bless.